Hello, welcome back to Lorena from Puerto Rico's blog. Today I'm going to be talking about the following topic, answering the question, are you a trust buster or trust builder? So let's get to it. As discussed on my previous video last week, I mentioned that consumers want to associate with brands and products that resonate with their values and care about the environment. A big component of this is building trust and credibility. Nowadays, it's harder to lose credibility than to gain credibility. Let me give you a history scenario to put everything into perspective. In the 20th century, the meat industry landed their first assembly line. The meat industry was praised by their efficiency and operations duplicated nationally and globally. And so did their uncompromising business practices, such as employees working under extreme duress, unsanitary conditions, and also covering and packaging spoiled meat. Yuck. Once the news spread about their unethical business practices, regulations swiftly followed, and therefore public trust quickly disintegrated. As technology continues to grow, let's talk about the future of trust within the organization. Organizational trust is a bilateral relationship between other businesses, workforce, partners, and the government. Marketers are expected to be the trusted stewards of information. This refers to accessing and consuming customer data in a way that maintains and builds trust within the consumer experience. Now, how to build trust in social media? Here's the formula. Trust is composed by authority times helpfulness times intimacy divided by self-promotion. Let me start by breaking down the trust formula, starting with authority. People trust companies that are expert within a certain industry or niche. To maintain authority, you need to keep up with the latest research, news, and frequently share your insights with your audience. You can start by being an authority by joining online conversation. You can find conversations to join by researching keywords and hashtags and going into conversations on LinkedIn groups. Another good way to do this is by checking your Google Analytics. There you can check what keywords are searched that lead to your website. Having authority within the industry means that you're the go-to for latest news and trends within the niche and the industry. You want to entice people to come to you to find out more education and get educated in whatever your vertical is. And last, needless to say this, but your content should be authentic and genuine. A part of being an authority within an industry and niche is creating content that not only represents you, represents your brand, and represents your company. That way you can stand out and show credibility. Continuing on with the next component, helpfulness. Remember, social media is a platform for people sharing content and building community. People are more likely to trust brands and services that are represented as being helpful. You can position yourself as being helpful by commenting and answering questions from your audience and your consumer. Being helpful also means that you're sharing content from an array of sources, not just your own. Think of social media as a collective platform to help your audience. A part of being helpful means that you should constantly be monitoring your brand and offer support to your consumers and audience. Not only you have to monitor your presence within social media, but also you have to monitor the presence within different URLs. This is important because statistics shows that 30% of your brand mentions online don't include mentioning your brand or company. Therefore, if you don't proactively monitor these mentions, you'll miss out not only on conversations, but also potential business opportunities. Here are some recommended tools to help you monitor the mentions online. First, you can use Hootsuite. Another one is called Mention, obvious reasons. And then the third one is Sprout Social. These platforms will help you not only monitor your mentions online, but also monitor variations of your brand's name or company. Another example of being helpful within your community is to redirect your consumers to the appropriate channels. Oftentimes, when consumers or users have questions about your brand or service, it's very difficult to proactively respond when there is a character limit, let's say on messaging or even on commenting. There's typically a 140-word character limit there. So that is not enough space to actively not only offer a solution, but give the consumer alternatives. You should always redirect them to either a team that is responsible for this inquiries or an email address. That way you can maximize opportunities of helping your consumers. Responding quickly to your comments and direct messages is extremely important. Make sure that you're responding to these questions and commentary very quickly. Currently, 65% of consumers on social expect that their questions or commentary to be responded within the 2-hour limit. Conversely, 60% of consumers online say that they would take negative action if the brand or service does not respond to their inquiry. Examples of negative actions include buying less from your brand or nothing at all, complaining about your brand or service online, and spreading their negative perspective about your brand or company to their family and friends. Now, when you respond quickly and meet your followers' expectations, 47% of the consumers say that they will recommend you on social. 43% of consumers will encourage other people to buy from your product or service, and 34% of consumers will ultimately buy more from you. These statistics shows that a higher percentage of people will take negative action towards responsiveness. Next component of the trust formula is intimacy. People want to relate to other people. They want to feel that they're talking to a person behind a brand or service. This helps your followers identify with your brand and ultimately build relationships. Examples of building intimacy within the trust formula are: number one, admit when you messed up. That is very important. Instead of deleting the post for errors or something that went wrong, admit to your mistake and own it. Remember, part of being human is making mistakes. And with the fast nature of social media, mistakes are bound to happen, and that is okay. Now, when it comes to brand making bigger offensive mistakes, bigger actions should be taken. For example, deleting your post, responding to anyone that was offended, and issuing an apology, and potentially reach out to your PR and legal team. And last part of gaining intimacy with your audience and followers is really honing in on your brand personality, showing them who you are and what the brand represents. Moving on with the last component of the trust formula is self-promotion. It is very important that you understand that every time you post about your own product or service, you are being self-promotional. Keep in mind that if everything you're posting on social media is just about you, not about other people or third parties, the trust within your followers will decline. In order to assess what your approach is, if you're being self-promotional or not, you should answer the following by looking at your feed. Are the majority of your posts promoting your brand and your service? Are you interacting with your followers and third parties sharing their content? When you're self-promoting within your post, make sure that you're doing it wisely. Don't be overly salesy or pushy. Show your value and brand personality by using a positive language. You can achieve this by promoting your own content by being playful, genuine, and fun. This is a trust formula on social media. So if you're adopting these practices, You are a trust builder. Now let's get into it real quick about being a trust buster. Number 1, make sure you stay away from boring posts. Boring posts that lack your unique personality and or perspective. Ask yourself, how can you infuse your own character and personality within each post? Another trust buster is not being consistent in your personal life and your social media life. Remember, you're the same person in your personal life and your social media. At the end of the day, you're the same person that goes out to the bar on a Friday night and the same person that wakes up in the morning, Monday morning, and goes to work or does whatever they do with their business. Remember this, your offline behavior reflects your online success. Be who you are as one person. Do not fake it. Remember that politics is a dangerous game to play when it comes to social media. Meddling or taking advantage of people's beliefs will become a serious risk. This leads me to my conclusion. With the internet accessibility and the longevity of the content online, brands should be very, very careful with their digital strategies. Brands and companies have to make sure that they're posting genuinely from the brand's or company's perspective. You should avoid controversial matters because they can create a negative perspective for your customers. And last, be generous by sharing third-party articles from other people. This will create not only conversations, but also will build relationships and help you for growth. Remember, sharing is caring. This is it for this week. Let me know, as always, if you have any questions, concerns, you name it. Reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to answer whatever you got for me. I'll see you all next week. Have a great week.